Welcome to the checkout. Andy and Corbin here breaking down the Premier League night 3 in darts coming off of the Luke final last week, Corbin. We had some drama. It was a really good final game. Luke Humphries maybe an injury to his hand,
Yeah, I'm
but he
sure it'll
played
be
pretty damn
fine.
good.
Yeah,
He played pretty
I
good for it.
I don't think it's anything to factor going in for this week. It was interesting last week. I would have factored it in. He was shaking it out. His routine was all over the place, but yeah, I think he'll be good for this week. So.
All right, we're going to break down night 3, talk about the different matches, and a bunch of other stuff. So if you guys could hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed to the channel for all of your breaking darts news and breakdown videos here. If you do not have a great comment to put down in a darts video, which I don't blame you for, just type 180 in the comment section. Or if you want to get really, really cheeky, you can type it how the announcer says it, and you can just type 180 in the comment section. So appreciate that,
Perfect.
guys. Yeah, appreciate that. All right, let's get into it. Every week we start with the Luke Darley. This is in honor of Prez, who said, "Why don't they call darts parlays Darlays?" And he's right. So the Luke Darley night 1 that did not win, but night 2 it won. So this week, Corbin, are we endorsing the ever popular Luke parlay minus 106? Pretty good price. What do you think? He plays Bunting. Humphries plays Bunting. Littler plays Price. Are we endorsing the Luke Darley this week?
I think we can endorse it. I would play it very small for we'll go through the games in a minute. There's one game that I think might be slightly closer, but I think this week it's a play. I think you could easily get behind it this week. So
Especially at minus 106. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of weeks where you can be confident in playing it at minus 106.
yeah,
And the other nice thing that you have is you have this Humphries Bunting to where if Humphries wins, you could easily either cash out or you could just come back on
yes.
price for a
Or you,
guaranteed profit.
or you can
So
hedge it during the game because there's always a point where someone's ahead. I'm sure you could easily get Littler to be ahead in one leg or it's be slightly close, and you can always hedge at some point. So yeah, I think this week's a Luke
all
Darley
right.
play on.
The, all right, the Luke Darley. And then we're going to track the over 7.5 alt games Darley. We have the exact opposite. I won in night 1, lost in night 2. So we go to the alt totals and we just play every game to go over 7.5. And this week it comes out to minus 175. Do you have any worries about the over 7.5 Darley?
I think I do. It's
Me
kind
too.
of one of those. It's been a lot closer this year. Last year, it cruised every game, every week, other than the Peter Wright games. This year, it's been a lot closer. You've seen a lot more games where it's like only just got over, or the one that burned us last week that went under. I think we'll get to it in a minute when we go game by game. But there's just two, three, or four, maybe even four players that they're just not quite there at the minute. So.
I agree. This was a home run for us last year. We just took out the games with Peter Wright, and it was just a cash every single week. It didn't matter the price. Maybe that was just kind of a one timer. Because I'm with you. I'm worried about that one. So, all
I
right.
think I think the later this tournament goes, I think once they're all sort of into it, maybe from like week 7 onwards, I think we might see a uptick in over 7.5. So I feel like it's one to watch. So
All right. Well, let's start with Luke Humphries and Stephen Bunting. We've talked about the 3 dart average. This has been our free play this week. Stephen Bunting 97.5. That's kind of my big one in this one. I don't know if I really need to do much more with it. What's your take on this match?
I get agreed. I think Humphries is going to coast here, quite honestly. Bunting played 2 Players' Championships. I mentioned they're the smaller tournaments that go on during the week. Went out in round 1 in one of them, reached round 4 in the other, but he only played one player that was in like the top 100, and that was Menzies, who he lost to in round 4. He averaged over 97.5 in just one of those games. Again, wouldn't really factor that in too much. because those kind of tournaments, again, it's completely different. But even I think he's gone under this in both his Premier League games. I think the under 97.5 is a great look. Humphries money line, maybe -1.5. I think he's going to win quite easily here. Bunting under his 180s. I kind of like just fading Bunting all round. I'm slightly worried about having too much exposure on him because, as I said, they're very streaky. It wouldn't be a huge shock if Bunting suddenly came out and turned it around because there's a reason he's in this tournament. Just because he hasn't showed it yet doesn't mean he's suddenly not going to. But until I see differently, I think you can just keep playing against him. So yeah, Humphries is probably the easiest play on the board for me. So
Gotcha. We're going to go through all these matches and then we're going to go over when these darts plays come out for clients. So if you've got our darts package, which I know a bunch of you already have, we'll talk about that. We'll tell you when these plays could be coming out because we may have some bets coming out for the second round like we did last week. So we'll go over that here in just a minute. Gerwyn Price and Luke Littler. I got to tell you, so Littler is going to be the one that gets all the headlines. Gerwyn Price and Michael Van Gerwen kind of have my attention in terms of just entertainment value. I'm thoroughly enjoying watching them, and this is the match I am most excited for in the first round. What's your take on Gerwyn Price and Luke Littler?
you nailed it. So when we
Oh,
talked about the Luke parlay, Luke Humphries, I think is safe. Luke Littler, I think could. I feel like he could be in a bit of trouble this week. Did you know Price has actually won the last 4 head-to-heads with Littler? I found that quite astonishing when
I
I
did
looked it
not
up.
know that.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it,
Wow.
quite honestly. I quite like the over. This is one of the ones where I think the over 7.5 is probably quite reliable. So you could do something with like the Humphreys money line and over 7.5, that kind of vibe. I also quite like the 180s, total 180s. It's really weird actually, the 180s this week. So certain books have it at, oh, they've got it at 7.5. Some have it at 5.5 minus about 200, and then most of the books have 6.5, but it's like juice to the under. It's really weird. It's kind of all over the place. I think Price. I wonder what Price. See, it's 3.5. I really like him to get about 3. So if your book does 2.5, I would take Price over 2.5 180s. It's kind of hard because immediately I always go Littler big 180 here, and he's been doing great. But if you look, the first round last week, I think he has 5, and then the other two since then he has 3. Now 3's are still quite a lot, but he's been out 180'd by his opponents in both of those games. 3 is not quite to his normal standard. Obviously, I didn't even realize, but he's changed his darts coming into this year. So I think it's one to watch out for. I probably wouldn't play the 180s unless you get one of the alt 180s. So total over 4.5 or 5.5 is the only thing I would do with that. So
May I also remind everybody, Luke Littler was within a you know what hair of losing to not just losing to Rob Cross, but getting
yeah,
waxed by Rob Cross.
yeah,
I like the overs in Littler games because we saw it against Cross. He could literally be down 5-1 and then he can win 6-5. But he
yeah.
also screws around like kind of in a good way. Like he's having fun with the crowd. Would you say he sets up 170 by far the most?
Oh yeah, it's a stat. I forgot the exact wording of the stat, but basically there's certain combinations over 150. There's like you're like I think it's I want to say it's a 164, but that could be wrong. But 170 is the main one. He will deliberately throw to leave a 170 over like okay that I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but say he could throw like a single 20 to leave him on 170. Most people would just go for another treble 20 just to bring the score down even more. He doesn't. He just throws that single 20 or whatever to or whatever combination to leave 170. And it's not just like he's not only just there, like he is far and away like the top of this stat. So I find
It
that
breeds over.
crazy.
It sets up over, and like I said, it's
Yeah,
such a good way. He loves getting the crowd into it. Like he loves giving himself harder situations, which means overs. And we know
the big
Price
fish.
Price has a high ceiling and kind of a low floor. So you could
Yeah.
have Price easily win a few games and then just get stomped on in a
Mhm.
few. So I was talking to Corbin last week. I think Littler may be the over like play of the year. Like his matches they may just all be going
Yeah.
over that 7.5 and 8.5. We're going to go over our official darts plays and where you can find those. Let's move on to Rob Cross and Nathan Aspinall. I don't have any hot takes on this one. Rob Cross, maybe under 180s. Neither of these guys are instilling a whole lot of, like, you're not playing overs. I don't think on either of these guys.
Mm,
What's your take? Do you
Well,
like overs?
I think this game is really intriguing to me. It's one that I feel like I have a strong lean, but whether I can convince myself to play is another question. Um, Again, if I told you Aspinall has won the last 5 head-to-heads between these two,
I would
it's like,
believe that. I would believe that. I'm Rob.
really?
Yes, Rob Cross. Get out of here, Rob Cross.
Go on, do his little celebration. His he's always doing it. Um,
It's when he has a bad throw and he just
yeah, and he go, oh. He's just they're both so inconsistent. Like I feel like Aspinall could sneak this. He needs to get off the board at some point. Cross is the ideal matchup to get off the board and start picking up points. Uh, Again, he's on those two are on the other side of the draw to the Lukes, so it really sets up for any of these four to have a good points week. If you can just win 1 or 2 games, you're going to fly up the leaderboard. The problem is Aspinall's just been so inconsistent. He's been playing really bad this year. But also, you mentioned it, Cross bottled that huge lead last week. Like, is that going to affect him psychologically? Like, I could easily see it playing on his mind and causing some slip ups here. So, yeah, I think Aspinall moneyline's a sneaky play. Overs, I could see over 7.5, 8.5 total in this game for both of them. And then I'm just going to keep riding Rob Cross under his 180s. He's had 2, 3, and 1. Some books offer alts, so under 3.5 is minus 350 at some books. I love that. I've played that personally because Cross is just not hitting 180s recently. So
no. This is the most expensive 7.5 on the board, minus 1,000. So
yeah,
even the books are telling you we expect two inconsistent guys to kind of go back and forth there. Last match of the first round, Michael Van Gerwen and Chris Dobey. I got to be honest, I cannot believe that Van Gerwen is only minus 180 and Littler is minus 270. That feels like those odds should be
yeah.
completely switched. I feel like this is a Van Gerwen, a minus 1.5 potential at minus 115. What do you think?
See, I liked it. I was on Van Gerwen all week, and I don't know. I've just got a feeling. I don't know what to make of it. Something doesn't sit right with me at the minute. I think Van Gerwen wins it. I lean Van Gerwen, but then I look at like his 2 wins are against Bunting and Littler. Littler was pretty good that game, but MVG just was clinical. But then his 2 losses are against Luke, both the Lukes again. It's another one I can't quite understand what to do. I'd probably go the total 180s route. Some books have it at 5.5 at minus 180. Some have it at 6.5 plus money. Again, I would always take the 5.5 and just sprinkle the juice if you can. Both have been really good at 180s. Dobey's had 5, 2, 4, and 3 on his own, and MVG has 5, 3, 3, and 6. So 5.5, they're both seemingly getting to at least 3 a week. So I quite like the over 5.5 180s if you can get it.
What do you think about Van Gerwen 99.5? Normally we
Oh
like unders on these, but man, he's been
yeah, yeah.
dynamite.
I spent a long time considering it. It's like he'll have 109 average and then they'll sneak under at 98. It's like they've got it. If it was 98.5, it would be a play on its overall day. I can't. Like don't again. I've mentioned. I think both are going to have great 180 days. Like they really push each other, but they've also had weird games where it's like I'm pretty sure both of them have like a 6-0 or 6-1 win over each other at various points. It's one of those I feel like someone could easily get hot and someone could easily get very cold in this game. But yeah, I probably wouldn't go the averages this week for that. So I'd go 180s.
All right, we mentioned that we were going to go over the times of the darts play. So those of you that have our darts plays, this is for you. If you're interested in dart plays, we're going to show you where you get all of our official client plays. So the first round plays they're going to start about 2:15 Eastern. The first round's going to be over. We're going to call it around 4:00 p.m. Eastern. If you got some long games, it might be a little bit, past that. But the second round's generally going to start around 4:30 p.m. Some weeks we were just going to have 4 first round plays and that's it. But Corbin, last week you liked some of the second round, so we had to put in some second round play. So I guess the point is have your notifications on. We do not know what the lines are going to be until maybe 10, 15 minutes before those second round plays. We will be putting them out. Make sure you get notified on your emails. Have your notifications on Thursdays. Or if you can't have your notifications on, just make sure you're checking by like 4:00 or 4:15, right?
Yep, exactly. Don't be surprised. There will be alt sports. Last week was a perfect example. So I really liked Humphries going into his second round match. But again, instead of having 4 games where I have pieces from, I only have that one. So if it's like negative 200 or more, I'm going to need another piece. So don't be scared if it's with a soccer or golf or tennis or anything. I still like it just as much. I just don't have the same kind of options when there's only 2 games left. So,
I will guarantee we were the only people that had like a darts parlay with a live golf parlay. There was nobody else on the
and
planet.
that's why we're the best, baby.
And that's listen, stacking units. So just always want to recap our sports here. 2025, we're up 22.82 units. And you said something interesting before we came on here. There are so many weeks of Premier League that if we just win 1 unit per week in Premier
Hmm.
League at the end of the season, it's like a huge week, and that's what we've done here. You've done a fantastic job. Corbin does all of our official plays. 3-2 night one, 3-1 night two, profitable both nights, +5 units. This is absolutely perfect to play how you play Premier League, right?
Exactly. I mentioned the volatility. You have to remember there's 4 games a week. It's not like I have the choice of 20. It's not like the World Championships
No,
where
no,
there's
no.
all over.
124 on Tuesday.
Yeah, yeah. Don't ever be playing those tournaments. But yeah, it's really hard because as I mentioned, darts is quite. It has volatility in places. I've mentioned certain players can just turn up one week and then just disappear for another 6 weeks. So yeah, if I could bring in 1 unit a week and then move on to the world slams and darts world championships where you can stack even more, it makes for a really good year. So
Love it. Love it. Our darts best bets are up. We have 3 plays for the first round that are up right now. So you can lock those in. 39 and 19 run the last 2 months, going back to your insane run in the world championships. So plus 30.6 units added to your bankroll just in darts over the last 2 months. That is a pretty damn good return on your investment. Just if just stock market, if you just went to your financial advisor, was like, hey, I made 30 units, like how betting darts, they would be like, well, I can't touch that. So if you're interested in darts bets, which you should, go grab those at WagerTalk. Other
it's
things that
it's
yes,
just a great bankroll builder. It's like that steady plodding along. You don't need to watch the darts. You don't need to enjoy the darts. Just bet them and then just log in the next day and see you've made a unit or two, and it will reap its own rewards basically.
absolutely. You could watch these on FanDuel, the live odds if you are lucky enough to have be in a state or area that has Bet 365.
Yeah.
You can watch them there, and I believe they're on Fubo now. Not DAZN. They were DAZN last year, but Fubo. So, and a little birdie told me there's a chance Corbin and I might be doing live shows for the darts starting next week. Corbin is moving into his very first house. By the way, congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
How is the moving? Is it just awful?
Oh, it's chaos.
Yeah,
There's just
moving's the worst.
there's just boxes everywhere, and particularly being my first time, it's kind of daunting. It's like, where's the instruction manual? Like, where do I learn? Where do I learn how to, I don't know, load the dishwasher, use the dishwasher properly, use the oven. It's like pay the bills. It's like, what have I got? It's all over the place. So
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun once you get settled. Unfortunately, the dirty little secret is you never get totally settled. So, but yeah, cash in with us on darts. We also have golf. We also have UFC, and we are running a special here. We have get 10 days of picks for the cost of 7. So you get 7 days, you're going to get 3 days free. Why is that important? If you're watching this video, because you're going to get 2 weeks of Premier League darts. You're also going to get all of our tennis plays. Congratulations to you, Corbin. Your tennis run has been insane. 14-4 over the last like week, including a 5% best bet. So we always stressed like get the long-term packages. That's how we build our bankrolls with all of these sports. So you're getting 3 days for absolutely free if you get a 7-day pass. You can just go to my page, wt.buzz, and get all of our plays. Highly, highly recommend that. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Thanks again. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment in the comment section. If you don't have one, just type 180. And like I said, code
180.
180. You can type that. That would be amazing. More credit to you. So, all right, that's going to do it for us. Good luck on your plays, and let's keep cashing in darts. We'll see everyone later.
Good luck.